Juneau Police Chief Bryce Johnson says his department is prepared to enforce the prohibition against illegal fireworks under the terms of the CBJ noise ordinance. That's the tack the Assembly decided to take after rejecting adoption of a fireworks ordinance recently. Basically what it means is that if you want to set off fireworks and they don't make noise, then have at it. As long as you're doing it responsibly, the chief says you can do that whenever you want to. But if you have fireworks that go boom, they're going to be considered a violation of the noise ordinances at all times except for New Year's Eve and the period of July 3rd through July 5th until 1 a.m. The enforcement of the noise ordinance more or less mirrors the provisions of the proposed fireworks ordinance. After a Friday evening's performance, at which Vice President-elect Mike Pence was in the audience, several dozen of the Broadway musical Hamilton's cast members zeroed in on Pence during their curtain call, and the reaction on Twitter was almost immediate. There are a number of quotes from Twitter that are published at the Alaska Dispatch News if you'd like to see them for yourself. Alaska's university system is ramping up programs to train the next generations of fishery and ocean specialists for jobs that await. Since 1987, the College of Fisheries and Ocean Science at the University of Alaska Fairbanks has offered undergraduate and graduate degrees in fisheries science, complete with paid internships for most students in one of the state's largest industries. Due to student interest, the college broadened the fisheries degree this fall to include ocean sciences and opened more oceanography and marine biology classes to undergraduate students. The new degree combo program attracted 53 students. UAF's program is the only school in the nation to offer a bachelor's degree in fisheries for students interested in seafood sciences and technology, as well as marine policy. Another focus of the bachelor's track is rural and community development, where students can earn their degree at home. Starting next fall, the College of Fisheries and Ocean Science plans to offer degree programs in partnership with the University of Alaska Southeast and eventually the Anchorage campus and other regions. A shorter career track for fisheries technologists is offered through the Sitka campus, training students for jobs as fishery observers, surveyors, culturists, and hatchery technicians. Fish Tech certification and associate degree courses are offered remotely with classes fully loaded onto iPads, no internet required. There is actually a shortage of fish techs in Alaska. That trend is expected to continue for at least a decade, according to university data. In fact, good careers await fisheries and ocean science grads in Alaska, as state and federal agencies are steadily losing workers to retirement. Of the nearly 700 graduates UAF's program has produced over the last 30 years, nearly half of them have gone on to careers at Fish and Game or the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. A Good Samaritan returned a stolen katana he purchased after learning it had been taken during a burglary at a local business. Bosco's Comic Cards and Games in Anchorage had that burglary last Thursday. Somebody came in dressed as a ninja and took the sword. The thief then sold it to a fellow who later saw the report on the news and brought the sword back to Bosco's. Bait is something critical to most fishermen. They sometimes scramble to find enough. Things do change over the years, and right now the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for International Marine Industries of Newport, Rhode Island, a global bait provider for more than 30 years, says that they are trying to stay ahead of the curve. Right now they are noting that the new up-and-coming bait is Pacific Saury. The Attorney General has put the city of Anchorage on notice, anticipating no Alaska State Trooper response to crashes north of Mile 75 of the Seward Highway and no backup for Whittier Police in Girdwood. Yet the city's attorney says that's not the responsibility of Anchorage Police. The municipality is authorized by state law to offer police services only where people have elected to tax themselves to provide for police services. Girdwood chose to do just that by contracting with Whittier Police, yet the communities of Indian, Crow Creek, and Bird Creek remain dependent on Alaska State Troopers to respond to 911 calls. Frankly, he said, the municipality of Anchorage does not have the money or the personnel to respond. Due to budget cuts, 32 positions within the Alaska State Troopers were cut in the last 2 years, and they are talking about all patrol troopers to pull out of Anchorage city limits early next year. They are saying that troopers will continue to patrol north of Mile 75 in the Seward Highway until early 2017, but no more positions can be guaranteed, especially not if any further budget cuts are passed. The total salmon harvest for 2016 came in at 112 million fish, based on preliminary numbers from Fish and Game. The value to fishermen of $406 million is the lowest since 2002. The 2017 forecast for Bristol Bay sockeye is 27.5 million fish, down 26% from this year's harvest. State managers predict Upper Cook Inlet fishermen will see a much lower commercial harvest of just 1.7 million sockeye salmon next summer, 1 million fish below the 20-year average. The forecast for pink salmon in Southeast is for a strong catch in the 43 million range, more than double the 18 million pinks taken in the region this summer. Well, passengers simmered in jacuzzis and feasted on gourmet cuisine this summer as the 850-foot cruise ship Crystal Serenity moved through the Northwest Passage. But back in the summer of 1778, when Captain James Cook tried to find a western entrance to the route, his men toiled on frost-slicked decks and complained about having to supplement dwindling rations with walrus meat. The British expedition was halted north of the Bering Strait by ice, which was as compact as a wall and seemed to be 10 or 12 feet high at the least, according to the captain's journal. More than 2 centuries later, scientists are mining meticulous records kept by Cook and his crew for a new perspective on the warming that has opened the Arctic in a way the 18th century explorer could never have imagined. Working with maps and logs from Cook's voyage and other historical records and satellite imagery, University of Washington mathematician Harry Stern has tracked changes in ice cover in the Chukchi Sea between Alaska and Russia over the nearly 240-year time period. The results that were published this month in the journal Polar Geography confirm the significant shrinkage of the summer ice cap and shed new light on the timing of the transformation. The analysis also extends the historical picture back nearly 75 years, based on previous work with the ship's records from the 1850s. Although earlier explorers ventured into the frigid waters off Alaska, Cook was the first to map the ice edge, with Cook undertaking that voyage, which also covered the northwest coast, on orders from King George III to seek a shorter trading route between Europe and the Far East across the top of the world. The analysis found that more than 200 years after Cook's visit, the summer ice cover in the Chukchi fluctuated, but generally extended south to near where Cook encountered it himself. The halibut industry is going to get a glimpse of next year's cap when the International Pacific Halibut Commission meets on November 29th, going through the 30th in Seattle. The commission will take up 13 requests for management changes to the fishery, including whether it will be legal to catch halibut with pots in 2017. The fishery will open in March. The State Board of Fisheries meets in Homer, November 30th through December 3rd. Focuses on commercial, sport, subsistence, and personal use fisheries in Lower Cook Inlet. 2 Alaska brothers are bringing Alaska Native languages further into the digital world. Reed and Grant Magdans launched an iPhone app last week called Chert. It allows you to add a keyboard to your iPhone to type and text in all 20 Alaska Native languages. The brothers, who are both from Kotzebue but not Alaska Natives themselves, hope that by making the languages more commonplace, something that people can more easily integrate into texting, Snapchat, Facebook, and across social media, they can revitalize a key piece of Alaska culture. They also hope they'll launch a version for Android as soon as they can. Some of the upcoming events this week include a Thanksgiving Day breakfast at 8 a.m. It's free and open to the public. And on the Friday, the Alaska Coffee Roasting Company is having Turkey Day relays. And on Saturday at the Carlson Center, there will also be a UAF hockey game. That is what we've got for our Alaska News for this Tuesday morning. It is the 22nd of November, 2016. And weather-wise, we're looking at a high today between -5 and 2 above under clear skies. Tonight, we're going to see a low around 22 below. Get ready, it's going to get a little chilly. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a high between -5 and 0. And on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to see a high right around 0, which is a good deal better than my first Thanksgiving here in Fairbanks. Back in 1994, it was a balmy 45 below on Thanksgiving Day. That's our Alaska News. Stay with us. In just a couple of moments, I'll be back with our Alaska commentary for Tuesday, November 22nd.